All right, we are live. Welcome to Pistons Jack Fan Reacts. Now, before I introduce my special guest here to get the show kicked off, for those tuning in, this show is for the fans. This isn't about me talking. Who cares about my opinions? I want you guys to come up, chat with me. I've got Jordan here from Pistons Thoughts to kick us off. But uh, if you want to come, jump up. The stage is yours. Send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter now, and I'll flick you a link to come up and chat. And we're going to go for as long as people want to talk about tonight's game. But as I mentioned, we've got Jordan here from Pistons Thoughts, an absolute legend of the Pistons Twitter community. What's going on, man?
What's up, Jack? Thanks for having me. This is a very, very cool show idea. I'm glad you're doing it.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that, man. So, look, we've got Pistons hoops to talk about. I don't know how I'm feeling, man. The
Yeah.
Pistons lose to the Pacers 109-115 in a game I feel like they should have won, to be honest. But nonetheless, kind of an encouraging performance. How are you feeling, man?
I'm feeling the same way. I mean, I'm glad we got Pistons back for real. I'm bummed. Yeah, like you said, definitely winnable game, and I think that they should have had it. But I mean, we got to remember it is a young team. This team isn't supposed to be winning a lot, but it's encouraging that they were in a spot in this game to win the game. And everything that we thought would look good coming into this year looked pretty good tonight.
Yeah. No, like there's definitely some encouraging things. And I think not to start negative here, but I think for me, like this just feels like I said, a missed opportunity. And we'll get to some
Yeah,
of the positives because there was plenty of positives. Like we'll talk about Cade. But for me, down the stretch, I think you just kind of saw why the Pacers made the Eastern Conference Finals last season. And I know they
yeah,
did it, like they got lucky with an injured Knicks team, but they just executed. And when I looked at the Pistons, there was some key missed rebounds there, one off a
yeah,
free throw, uh, fouling Ben Mathurin at the end on the 3-point line. Like those are those young mistakes, which I know we're going to go through this season
yeah,
because this team is still young and I don't want to be too harsh, but those are the things I really just don't want to see, especially on your home court. Like,
yeah.
if this is in Indiana, I'm feeling a little bit different. Maybe that's right, wrong, or right. But, some of those key mistakes, like, what are your thoughts on those?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, even though all the mistakes weren't made by rookies, a lot of rookie mistakes. I mean, the Ron Holland, 6 men on the floor, that was killer. That was, I mean, I don't know that I've seen that in an NBA game. I mean, you see it in football all the time, but like in an NBA game, I don't know that I've actually ever seen that. Yeah, a lot of key missed rebounds, just a lot of key missed defensive stops, and capped off by the missed rebounds. And just the offense really just stalled down the stretch. And that's something, these are the things where it's like, you expect these to happen. It's in games 10, 20, 30, 40. Are they still happening? Do they have an opportunity to actually close out these games and actually make those winning plays? That's what I care about this season.
For sure, man. No, and I'm with you on that. Just before I go on, I'm seeing a few comments. Is the sound coming through okay, guys? Could someone just confirm they can hear me? Seems to be my microphone.
Oh, it's just the Pistons thought show today. Okay. Can't hear Jack. Okay.
There's been some comments, but anyway, I'm just gonna keep going. But oh yeah, we're good apparently. Thanks,
Nice.
Brandon. Shout out. Um,
Brandon, legend.
I think I think where I want to go next is like Cade Cunningham. Uh, I know this is Cade's fourth season. He finished with 28 points, I think 4 rebounds, 9 assists. Really, really good second half. I know this is his fourth year, so you expect like these performances to lead to wins.
Yeah.
How do you feel about his game tonight? Andrew Nemhard really put the clamps on him in the first half, but I think Cade in that second half showed why, we're talking about him as a potential all-star this season.
Yeah, I mean, notoriously slow starter in games and in seasons. But this was it was very encouraging in the second. He just took over in the third quarter. What do you have? 16 points, I think. And
Yeah.
just, I mean, needs to improve down the stretch and just figuring out how to, counter the lockdown. But I mean, theoretically, if Tobias hits that corner three,
Yeah.
his teammates didn't really help. So we're still at a point where opposing teams aren't going to fully believe that the Pistons have spacing down the stretch,
Yeah.
and they're just going to hone in on Kate Cunningham. So two things. One, he's got to figure out how to counter that. And two, teammates got to hit some shots.
Yeah, for sure. And
But I loved it.
yeah, that third quarter, I think he had 18 points. Like he needed that. I feel like that first half, it was like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Like I'm not worried because this is just like you said, how Cade starts the season.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he'll just have like his first 3 to 4 games, he gets like 18 to 20, probably on low, like below 50% shooting. Like for some reason, that's just how he starts. But it was super like encouraging to see him in that third quarter. Genuinely, like I felt like he was the best player on the court. Maybe Pascal Siakam.
Yeah. Looked like,
but,
well, yeah, Pascal hit some tough shots down the stretch too.
Like he's tough, but like I feel like Cade looked like Tyrese Halliburton had a down game, and I feel like Cade kind of showed he's the guy, and that's what we want to see. We would have liked to win, but
definitely.
Any other Cade thoughts?
Next step, we need Cade to be able to hit the clutch Halliburton three, even if he's not having a great night, but especially if he is. But yeah, I mean, I thought he was great all around. I think 3 turnovers. You like to see that it's only 3 turnovers. I mean, that's with the volume he has the ball in his hands. 3, you're gonna live with that every night.
Yeah, for sure. I think overall, like good game, really nice way to start the season. I think just before we jumped on it, I don't know if I actually hit send on this tweet, but for me it was a big thing for me. So the Pistons they travel, and we're not done talking about this game, but the Pistons travel to Cleveland now Friday night. For you guys in the US, it'll be Saturday morning for me. I think that is a huge test for this team early in the season. Like for me, the Pistons, even in past seasons when they've won a disgustingly low amount of games, opening night, the vibes are high. Like they normally come out with the energy and anything can happen. So this game traveling to Cleveland, a place where I feel like they get blown out regularly. It's a tough place to play. I think it's going to be like Cade in particular, just to see him string together 2 good games, and hopefully he can come out in the first half and really assert himself. I think that's going to be something I'm really keying in on watching in that game.
Yeah, I'm also, that for me is a big Jalen Duren test too, because Cleveland is the reason 2 years ago I think that Troy Weaver pulled the trigger and went and got James Wiseman and really, really tried the 2 big experiment because we got destroyed in Cleveland like the day before the trade deadline or something. Yeah. So I think that's a big game for Duren to show that he can hold his own against one, elite big, let alone 2. And we need Tobias to step up there too. But yeah, I agree with you. It's a big test. I mean, JB going back. We'll see. But I mean, I think there was a lot that they can build on from this game as they sort of all. I mean, we have a lot of new rotation players this year too. I think we all need to keep that in mind. But yeah, I think it's a big test. But I think they're in a better position to play Cleveland now than they have been in the last however many years.
For sure. And you brought up James Wiseman there. I'm not sure if there was an update, but I hope that wasn't an Achilles.
Yeah.
I hope that was just a calf strain, kind of like what Cat had last season or 2 seasons ago. Because that looked not great. And I know Wiseman was very controversial in Detroit, but you never want to see that. So
absolutely.
Hopefully he's all good. But you brought up Jalen Duren. I think that's where I want to go next.
Yeah.
I thought behind Cade, he was the guy. Like I think the vets, we might get to them next, but I think JD, like that's the version of Jalen Duren I think we all want to see.
Yeah.
I just love to hear your thoughts on his game.
No, I totally agree. I mean, it's kind of like last season where he started really hot, both ends of the floor. You watch that and you're like, oh, if this is Jalen Duren, then like we're good. So I think just him being consistent, more of that, more time removed from the ankle injuries. I think I like it. And we can talk about spacing later, but it's nice to go Cade spacing Duren. It just feels nice.
No, for sure, man. Like, I couldn't agree more. Like the spacing on the court, like, and we saw it in the preseason. Like, I think us Pistons fans have been tortured in the past few years into just a crowded half court,
It's just so
to say the
stupid.
least. Uh, like, so just to see that space, like, I noticed even tonight, like, just Cade getting off those spin moves in the lane. Like, I feel like he
Yeah,
honestly, like, he had two or three of those tonight. And
yeah,
I honestly don't think he had the spacing
right.
last season to do that more than once every like 5 games. Like
Yeah, because you have
genuinely.
4 people in the paint ready for him because no one
Literally,
can
man.
shoot. Yeah,
Literally. But I like what you said there. Like Cade Durant spacing, like that on offense is such a good like regular diet for this team to go
yeah,
to. Like it's just rinse and repeat. That can be the staple. And I think for JD, like the energy was there from the jump. And you
yep,
mentioned it. His first before that ankle injury, like you said, like he was everywhere last season in those first 3 games, which we all loved, the 2-1 start.
yeah,
But
yeah. Should have been 3 now.
literally, man, that's what I think Bleacher Report. What's the famous tweet? It was like the Showtime Pistons. And from that point on,
Was
they lost like 28 straight. Like,
wasn't
can't
great.
make that up.
Wasn't great.
I think that's like the first time Bleacher Report had tweeted about the Pistons in like 3 years.
We
But
looked great.
we really did, man. But I hope we're past those days. But
Yeah,
just
please.
with Duran, like I think I don't even think he had a block shot tonight. I haven't checked the final
Mhm.
box score, but this was a classic game of like if you watched it, you felt his presence. Like he's
Yeah,
rebounding. Like they're going to rely heavily on that.
yeah.
Which, but like his rebounds, he had like just hustling. Like I thought, I know that's his bread and butter, but I felt like that really stood out to me.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't there. It is his bread and butter. It definitely wasn't there all of last year, all the hustle and everything. But I think we can start forgetting about last year. I mean, if we haven't already, because I think a lot of like the low effort play from anybody on the team and just lack of defense can be. It's like I don't know how you can go out 82 games knowing that your coach is putting you in the worst position to win. Your GM is making sure that you don't have a collection of NBA players. So I feel like it obviously would have been, especially for younger players, like it shouldn't really matter the circumstances. But I think assuming this team is more competitive this year, as I mean, we saw tonight and the offseason moves imply, I think we should see that from Jalen Duren more often than not.
For
I hope.
sure. And you brought up Monty Williams, and there was some killer tweets about Monty
Hey,
tonight.
I didn't even say his name.
No, I know you didn't. I'm just saying I saw some tweets about Monty tonight, which had me laughing.
Yeah,
I stay
yeah.
away from them, but I can't deny they're pretty funny. But you know, I think I'm not sure if I have any major takeaways right now about JB Bickerstaff, but is there
Yeah.
anything from tonight's game or the preseason that stood out to you about him and kind of his style thus far?
I mean, the defense looks better overall.
Yeah,
That's a big thing. I would like to see more ball movement, just in general, but also guys do need to knock down shots. Like I think in the fourth quarter, there was a lot, not a lot, but there was a few really good missed shots, like the Stu
yeah,
corner when Tim Hardaway Jr. Like first of all, I think
yeah,
THJ probably could have just gone up with that. Second of all, Stu should have
yeah,
shot it. Third of all, it doesn't matter. But
yeah.
I think I mean down the stretch, like I think could have been more timeout situations where it's like you hadn't scored in however many minutes, more than once or twice. Like the last 5-6 minutes was bad, just
Yeah.
all around. So I think I mean I don't really know who that's on, but that's something where he probably needs to step in and figure it out. But I think just addition by subtraction.
Yeah,
And then theoretically JB is a good fit. I mean, every time he talks, I'm like, I'm so in.
I agree with that, man. Yeah, the way he talks, like I try my best, like, and I think I've seen you tweet about it as well a lot. Like after what we witnessed last season, not to keep bringing it up, but
Yeah.
it was really hard to get excited about certain hires in the coaching department or the front office just because of you know like we've gotten so hyped in the past about that
Yeah,
stuff, but
every
I
year.
do agree. Yeah. Like I think I specifically remember seeing you tweet like I am not getting excited. I am not getting
Yeah,
excited.
yeah. I
Like
couldn't help it.
yeah, and like but look, I like everything he said. I like how they kept like Jarrett Jack, but on
Yeah,
like you said, man, the last 5 minutes tonight, we kind of give it a pass maybe because it's the first game, new roster, new coaches, like
yeah,
first time in the real thing. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on, like as the season
definitely.
goes on. I think where we can go next is probably just the vets. I think in the first half they really showed why decent to good veterans are
Yeah.
extremely essential to any team. Uh,
Yes.
and I'd just be curious to get your thoughts on Tobias. I think we'll start with him. I feel like
Hmm.
excellent first half, kind of faded a little bit, but at the same time, that's kind of who he is. And I think
Yep.
that's okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on Tobias?
I was gonna say the same thing. I mean, last year
Yeah.
especially, like just watching him, like big first and second quarter player, mainly first quarter. But you need that, and theoretically, he's gonna knock down the open looks in the fourth quarter. But I think, I mean, so we went up early. It was at 12-4 or something.
Yeah.
They come flying back, take the lead. Last year, game's over right there.
Yeah.
This year, Tobias sort of took over,
Yeah.
kept it close, extended the lead again. You're good after the first quarter. That's huge.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we just didn't have that last year. And then Tim Hardaway Jr. was hitting shots. Malik Beasley came in, hit a couple. I think it's just going to be so crucial. And I just still don't understand why we didn't really have that last year, other than
Yeah.
Boyan and Burks when he, wasn't cold for like 2 weeks. Um,
2 months, maybe.
yeah, 2 months, 2 months. But yeah, no, Tobias was big. Yeah, like we said, definitely disappeared a little bit in the second half. In a perfect world, that doesn't happen. But even if it does, it's okay. For this team,
Yeah.
it's okay. Would prefer it doesn't happen like that, but he was big in the first half, and we needed that.
No, for sure. And like that was like I get why when the Pistons signed Tobias, some
Yeah,
Pistons fans and a lot of the NBA community were kind of like just clowning it. But
yeah,
I think like for those that actually watched Detroit last season, like the whole thing was like just getting some stability in that starting lineup, someone with size that can shoot, theoretically rebound a little bit, and just be a big body. And like I feel like he just kind of did, like you said, like play. That's who Tobias is. He's going to
yeah,
fade in and out of games, but he's also going to have, and he did this in his first stint with Detroit. Like he's also going to have those 5 minute stretches where it goes like 4 for 5,
yeah,
8 to 10 points. Like I still remember, like I feel like he had a couple of 20-point first quarters back in the day. Like
yeah,
it's kind of just who he is. Like and you mentioned that, and I think it was a solid game, and like that's the stability, like you said, when the younger guys are struggling, like just to have Tobias get on a heater there for 4 to 5 minutes when things aren't going the right way, like it's huge. And that kind of leads
that's
me to
all you
Malik
need.
Beasley, who I feel like had his own kind of heater there for a little bit. I'm not sure
Yeah,
exactly. I'll get up the box score here, but I think Malik Beasley finished with 14 points on 5 of 13 shooting. It actually felt like he shot a bit better than that, 2 of 6 from three. But
yeah.
I thought he was pretty
I don't
impressive
remember
as
him taking
well.
13 shots.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I loved I love the signing from the jump. It's just, yeah, he's another guy. He's definitely streakier, but he's gonna go through weeks of just hitting shots for you.
Yeah.
And that's just, especially, I mean, it'll be interesting to see if like Tim Hardaway Jr. is the starting three going forward, or if that sort of maybe changes with Montecchio, or you throw Beasley in there night to night, or even Ivy to the bench. But I think he will probably be most important playing in like with Cade, or when Ivy's the primary ball handler, and just
Yep.
spacing the floor, just being reliable to just knock down shots, can create a little off the dribble. And he said this summer, I forgot exactly what he said, but something about he's like, I want to show people I can play defense again.
Yeah.
So if he does, that's another benefit. But yeah,
I,
just his shot making ability is definitely huge.
it is, man. Like, yeah, like we said, like I didn't even know he took 13 shots, but I feel like the
Yeah,
shots he took, I was happy with all of them, and he made some tough ones. Like he even made like some stuff around the basket, which I wasn't like, which surprised me a little bit. So I like,
Yeah,
I think that's just so helpful to have that off the bench for now.
agreed. Yeah,
Well, and you kind of brought up THJ there, and I'm going to tie that in with kind of the starting lineup and rotation. JB tonight pretty much only played 9 guys or 8 guys. Nine guys, and then Marcus Sasser got in there for 3 minutes because of foul trouble to Ivy.
right.
What did you think of the Hardaway Jr. kind of starting in his game?
I mean, look, he shot the ball really well tonight. Not mad at it when he's hitting. The issue over the course of the season is, how consistently is he having good shooting nights? But
Yeah.
I mean, look, it worked out. I'm not mad at it when he's hitting shots. When he's not hitting shots, I'm mad at it. But I mean, I still personally would prefer Fontecchio in there over him. But my guess is it's probably going to be a relatively fluid starting lineup at that spot. Like I think you got Cade, Duran, Tobias locked in.
Yeah.
It seems like Ivy's going to be locked in there too. I mean, he's played really well in the preseason, and I thought he had a nice game tonight. I think it's probably going to be fluid at the 3.
Yeah. No,
I
I'm
don't
with
know matchup. Like there's not really a matchup where you're like Tim Hardaway Jr. tonight because we're playing this team. So I don't know that it's matchup based, but I think it'll probably be fluid.
Now that you say that, it will be interesting against the Cavs. Jarrett Allen might be injured. I'm not sure. I was going to say if Cavs are starting Allen and Mobley, maybe the Pistons start Fontecchio alongside Harris. But it's not like the Cavs have a bigger 3, so I think they have Strus at the 3. But look, I think I'm with you. The 3 is going to be very fluid, especially while even when Asar's back, to be honest. It probably, like, if Asar starts, then maybe that moves Ivy. But I'm with you. I think Tobias, Duran, Cade, absolute locks. I think Ivy's a lock unless he goes through a really rough patch shooting the ball. I think let's talk about Ivy actually, because I think Jaden had a good bad game. Like I think he kind of struggled a little bit. Like the foul trouble kind of knocked him around. I felt like he was in a good groove. I felt in the first half, but he only played like 10 minutes because of the foul trouble. But I feel like if that's a lesser to bad game for Jaden, like that's an improvement. Does that make any sense?
For sure. Like if this is like sort of like a floor game for him where it's like this is, knock on wood, as bad as it gets. I mean, no, for sure. If this is sort of a floor game for him, I think it's a massive improvement.
Yeah, like I don't think he hit a 3, and he missed. There was that shot mid-range pull-up he took, which I'll be honest, I don't mind the confidence, but I think the Pistons were down 3 with 3 minutes to go. And it was the thing that I didn't like was that it was like a no pass. Like he just brought the ball down and got straight into that, which is like maybe swing it around a bit. You've got Cade there. So he didn't hit a jumper, I don't think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I could have missed it. But I thought the ball handling, though, like some of the behind the back dribbling, just the control and the strength, like I didn't see that last season consistently.
No. Right.
So I think that was encouraging for me.
And his finishing just looked really just silky smooth.
Yeah, literally, man. Literally. Like that's been a weakness for him. Like you kind of think Ivy, athletic, but his finishing's actually been quite poor. Like I think it was good at the start of last season coming off the bench, but then it kind of tailed off.
Last season roller coaster for him. For sure. But no, I'm with you. Yeah. If this is sort of like what a rough to bad game looks like for him, that's going to be really good, especially if he's hitting shots like he was all preseason.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think I saw someone, did he like post on Instagram and everyone's like, oh, that's directed at Monty. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm just getting it out. I want to see what the caption was. So it's like, sometimes I can't tell with players, like, because I remember Jaden last season after Killian was waived, put up posted a photo of him and Cade side by side.
Right. Yep. Like I'm sure they all like Killian because like, Monty, dude, come on.
I can't find it, man. Maybe he took it down, but I don't know, man. Any other thoughts before I let you go here?
That's what he was talking about. Ron Holland I think love the confidence. I think some of his at the rim stuff was reminiscent of those early summer league games, which wasn't great, sort of
Yeah.
forcing things. But I think, I mean, in summer league, he was awful game one, and by game five, you're like, I'm so in. Like he's doing
Yeah.
everything really well. Like he's under control. He's definitely learning. First game jitters, I'm sure. I mean, again, with the 6 men on the floor thing. Um, I think that if he sort of has that same progression he did in summer league over the next couple weeks, let alone the next year or so, but if he can sort of get more under control and not force up those bad looks, I really like it because I think his defense was pretty solid. I think in the first, everyone had good first halves except
Yeah.
Cade.
Yeah.
Like, but in the first half, I think Ron's defense was really good. It's and that made I tweeted, I'm just like, when we get hit Asar back and they're on the floor together, assuming someone can knock down shots, defensively, it's going to be pretty exciting. But I think, yeah,
Yeah.
Ron, I mean, his shot looked okay. He didn't hit
Yeah.
anything, but like, we'll see how the Fred Vincent magic plays out. But I
Yeah. No,
think for game one, fine. I'm not
yeah,
mad
it's a
at it.
good shout, and I love his energy, like,
Yeah.
and just his passion. Like, I think he was going at Matherin a little bit there in the first half.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he,
I hate that
yeah,
Matherin did that to Ji.
I know.
Just
It
murders me
feels like it.
inside.
I think yeah, he just gets up for the Pistons games. Like,
I
I was
know.
really
I
hope.
know.
I think he obviously won the little head to head there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just with that cross or the step
I
back,
know.
whatever it
I
was,
know.
man. That's
I know.
like,
Yeah, if we just could have won, it would have all been okay.
I know, but just on Ron, like, yeah, I saw him talk. Like, he doesn't back down. Like, there was that funny moment with Royce O'Neal against the Suns where he's just not letting go of the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
Like, that little stuff, like, he's done that now consistently. Like, I don't know. I think, like, man, I've never been to Detroit, but I pay a lot of attention. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
he feels like he should be in Detroit. There's
Yeah.
something about him.
100%.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just makes sense.
Dog pound, baby.
Literally, man. Like, it just makes sense. And like you said, like, his defense was good. Like, I think he's like just like the energy he plays with, I think is just
Yeah.
really gonna help him.
It's
Like,
big.
I think in like 3 minutes he had like 4 points, 3 rebounds, and maybe a steal. Like,
Yeah.
just
All over
everywhere.
the place.
Like him and Asar, like, I think Asar's the better prospect, but there's so many similarities in the way they impact the game that, like you said, whenever they get on the court together,
Yeah.
maybe like the spacing might suffer, but I think just as a fan of basketball, it'll be fun to watch them
Yeah.
get up and down the court.
At least for a couple minutes, just see
Yeah.
where it takes you.
For sure. I guess last thing I'm gonna ask you, then I'll let you go here. How are you feeling about the Asar situation?
I mean, I think like it's obviously like a very scary health situation. So I think it's from my perspective, it feels like everyone's just being extra cautious, which totally cool. Like I don't think that there's any information being held from us. I think it's just like there's like a very intensive, like long process to clear blood clot issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's he's working out. Like it seems like he's doing good. I'm guessing hopefully in the next couple weeks there's some resolution, good positive resolution. But he seems like he's doing good. But yeah, since it's just like such a very serious sort of like hidden health issue, like I feel like they're just being extra cautious. The league is, that is.
For sure, man. No, I'm with you. Like, it's like you said, I don't think any information's being withheld. There's no like nothing of that sort going on. It's just such a serious thing. Like, I think you could tell me he's back Sunday for the game against Boston, or
Yeah.
you could tell me he honestly misses the whole season just as a precaution. And like, I'm honestly so fine with either of those because, yeah, blood clots clearly very, very, very scary thing. So, not to end on a negative note there, but we like hopefully Asar is back as soon as possible.
Definitely.
It's been a pleasure, man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for jumping on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Feel free to plug yourself. I'm sure everyone knows who you are and where to
Just
find you. But
follow me on Twitter, Pistons Thoughts. That's all you need to do.
I love it, bro. Well, I can't wait to have you back on. We're doing
sure.
these after every game. apart from maybe one next year. But like, yeah, I can't wait to have you back on. So thank you
Awesome,
so
man.
much.
Thank you, Jack.
I appreciate you, bro. Have a
No
good one.
problem. You too. Later.
See you, bro. All right, guys. So now this is my first stream. So you are watching me live here, try and figure things out. So I'm just going to invite up Alan, who DM'd me on Instagram, who's a Australian Pistons fan. So just bear with me. And then we're going to go through some of the comments here you guys are putting in. But one moment. All right, we have just sent Alan the link. If anyone else wants to jump on, please DM me. I'm going to try and go through them live here. For future shows, I'm going to tweet out like this live stream the day of the game. If you want to come on now that you can kind of see how this all works, just DM me during the day so I can then send you a link. But yeah. This has been heaps of fun, guys. I can't believe how many of you are tuned in. This is actually crazy. So I appreciate all of you. I'm just going to bring up some comments here while we wait. Pistons Jacob, shout out. Ivy had almost no mistakes and was getting to the paint and during contact, which is all I really wanted from him the last 2 years. Couldn't agree more. Like, I feel like I was just saying then with Jordan, like Ivy, for me, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but like I didn't think, based off what we saw in the preseason, he had a good game. I think for him, I say it in the complimentary way, that was a good bad game for him. But to see him get to the free throw line a bit and the way he finished around the rim at certain times, I think was really encouraging. And it was good to see him get to the line and get some reward. And if anything, there was a couple of times he got blocked by Turner where I feel like he could have finished with his left, and he was trying to finish with his right. So more to improve upon there. But yeah, good shout from Pistons Jacob. And I'm sure you're all subscribed to Pistons Jacob. He's been putting out amazing content on YouTube for the past couple of months. And yeah, go check him out if you haven't already. Oh, it looks like we've got Alan here. I'm going to bring him up. What's going on, man?
Hey, Jack, can you hear me?
I got you, brother. How good's that?
Good.
How good's that name? Pistons make me weep. Far out.
You can blame last season for that, man.
Thank you for joining, mate. How are you?
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me, man. It's good to see another Australian behind the Pistons, bro.
Absolutely, bro. No, I like you. You know what, man? Like, there's actually, since I've been like doing this content for the past couple of years, there's actually a lot of Pistons fans down here in Australia. Like, it's just like we're not around each other. We're all in different parts of Australia, but this is sick. This is sick. It's so cool to have an Australian on.
I feel like last season pulled us all together. You know what I mean? We had to. We needed
Literally,
the support, mental health.
So let's talk about the game. I've gone through some things just with which you've been on the stream here, so you know what we've chatted about. But
yeah,
how are you feeling? Like, what are your thoughts? Any key takeaways? That kind of thing.
Well, I think what I was able to put to bed was my kind of doubt in Tim Hardaway Jr., which was good because I was really worried. I thought that we were going to see the second coming of Joe Harris, and I don't think we are. I think it was just an off preseason, and I'm not too worried. He's a proven vet. He's just streaky, you know, and it's what we're going to see. We're going to see 1 week on, maybe 1 week off type thing. But I do believe it is an upgrade from Burks in terms of streakiness. So.
A great way to put it.
But I mean, I was really impressed with Beasley. I thought he's just such a key pickup that we got in this off season, and he's just going to be great for just for Cade and even and like you said with Pistons Swords, Duran and Ivy as well. You know, but you know certain things that I kind of I would like to see different is Tech and the way he's used.
100%. That's a great call.
What do you reckon?
No, I agree, man. I agree. Like, I think Simone, like, to be honest, he's been hesitant on some threes. And I'm like, just shoot it, man. Like, I don't know if there's a little bit of a confidence thing, but I think he should be starting. And I say that not in like an aggressive way that I think JB is doing a bad job. I just think he should be starting. But yeah, he's someone who's probably, I don't want to say disappointed me so far because it's so early. But yeah, I think it's a good shout, like to bring him up.
And for that purpose of confidence as well, having him in the starting lineup, giving
Yeah,
him a bit more of a role. I think just for anyone getting that opportunity to start is a boost in confidence subconsciously. Um, but I thought, he was very quiet. Like you said, he was super quiet. He was kind of a bit timid with the ball. There was a couple things earlier defensively that I liked, especially that offensive foul on the turnover that he pulled earlier on. I was really impressed with that. That was,
yeah,
good IQ. Um, but yeah, just giving him that opportunity along Cade, because Cade's going to give him that opportunity to space.
absolutely.
And I don't know if he's getting that opportunity coming off the bench. I don't think people are looking for him as much, you know.
Well, that's a great shout because I feel like one of the things that stood out to me on probably a negative basis was like, and people have spoken about this in the off season, was just kind of the lack of on ball creation or playmaking once Cade, because like in that first half, Ivy had the foul trouble, and then Cade's obviously got to come out for some rest. And I think like that's a great point from you. Um, the opportunities might not be there for Simone like they would be if Cade was there. So he's definitely someone I feel like they got to get going. But I wanted to ask you. So I was going through our DMs. What are your thoughts on Isaiah Stewart? Because you're sending me some good DMs.
I've
So
got to.
just so you know, I'm a massive Stu fan, but I'm not like like I just want to hear. And
No, I
Stu's
picked up
very
on that.
divisive.
I picked up, and look, I like him too because I do
Yeah,
like his motor. But look, there's just things that are happening on the side that they're not required, like these off-ball fouls. I'm sure you
yeah,
saw in the comments because
yeah,
they don't need to happen. We get it, bro. You're tough, and we like your motor, and we know that you're ready to bash anyone that comes against you. But like, it's more just like it's more just doing it in the play instead of outside of it. Like they're not needed, and
yeah,
it breaks the momentum
yeah.
that we're riding. So, but I was a bit disappointed because I'm a really big fan of Paul Reed, so I wanted to
B-ball
see.
Paul.
Maybe I love Ball Paul, man,
Let's
and
go.
he's also got a great motor. I think he's got good size, and I feel, and this may be a little bit controversial. I feel like he can catch a ball better than Stu. So
Oh, no, I don't think that's a fair thing to say. Even as a
yeah,
Stu fan, like I think his hands and the way he is in traffic with his hands, and like it's been a struggle for him, or like a weak point of his game. That plenty of Pistons fans have gone off about on Twitter. So I think that's a very, very fair call. Just wanted to shout out all the Aussies are here in the comments. This is
yeah,
sick.
yes, no.
Yeah, good. Koo, I'll get you up next, man, once we're done here with Alan. But I guess any other key thoughts? I feel like I've hit on most of the points from the game, but just in your thoughts maybe on the season ahead and how you're feeling with the team now that we've seen one game as well.
Um, Look, I'd still be interested in getting a backup point guard, and I'd still be interested in. For me, I'm not. I'm not a huge fan of Weaver, but I did like that Weaver liked big centers, and I like big centers, and especially if they can stretch. Don't need to, but like I've got this weird sickness in about me of wanting Steven Adams because I just feel like
I love it.
yeah, bring him in. But an extra point guard would be amazing because just like nights tonight where maybe Ivy's having an off game, maybe we can bring in a vet or someone who's proven that can handle the ball and just make those high IQ decisions when we
Yeah,
need them. And I'd like to see a bit more ball movement. I believe that we can improve on that, especially. But that's it from me. And yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
love it, mate. I agree. The backup point guard thing has been a big debate in the Pistons community for a while. Obviously there's Cade and Ivy, but I think you've seen in these games like when they aren't there on the court, there's sorry, this comment's just sent me. Corey Joseph. I actually like Kojo.
bring the
Kill me
goat
in the
back.
comments.
I'm all for it. Bring him back.
But I think that's definitely it's going to be interesting to see how Trajan plays that because I get the sense this is just a gut feel that Trajan's very keen on the draft. Like, this is his first year. And I think, like, if there's a hole on the roster, like they have with the backup point guard position, it probably is kind of favorable to maybe lose some games like tonight where you're still competitive, your team still looks
Yeah,
good,
for
but
sure.
you've kind of got this weakness that's going to lead you down the path of a few extra losses and help you get that better draft pick. But if the Pistons are actually pushing for playing contention, then I think that's an area they have to address.
And I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. You know, with what we see, I know that we've got a lot of we're so used to being upset and depressed about, you know, the Pistons, but from what I saw in today's game, we were the better team. The
Yeah.
fourth quarter was our vice. But up until then, we were the better team. There's no doubt about it. So
Yeah.
if we keep playing like that, we're going to have a more than 20 win season. I mean, even could be around
Yeah.
30 to 40, but we just got to
Yeah.
keep the momentum. So
Yeah,
that's it.
absolutely. That's why, like, look, I think they've got an extremely tough back to back this weekend. They go to Cleveland, then they play. I think it's in Boston the next night. But so there's a very real chance they're 0-3. So I think, like, for Pistons fans, it's can they be competitive in these games? Like, I think it's okay to be 0-3 if they really show some growth and in these games don't roll over and get blown out like they would last season. I don't know. Something within me gives me confidence they might beat the Cavs. JB. Hopefully it's like that Dwayne Casey Toronto type vibe.
Exactly. And I think we can. And especially, I don't know if you mentioned before that Jarrett Allen was injured, but if that is the case, then
Yeah.
I'm feeling
I
optimistic.
hope I
You
would.
know,
I hope I didn't just imagine that. It'd be scary if that was in my
I hope
dreams.
you
But
did.
but yeah, no. If he's not playing, that would be huge for sure. Anything else, man? You'd like to get off your chest?
Look, until you know, the next game, I think that's it. You know, that you can only take so much from this first game, and of course the jitters and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But all I can say is, man, I appreciate for having me on, man. Like this has
Absolutely, bro.
been a dream for me, and keep doing what you're doing because you're killing it, bro. And for us Australians, bro, we're all behind you.
I love that, mate. You know what? I should have asked you this immediately because this is my favorite question. How did you become a Pistons fan?
Well, I'm not sure how old you're, but I'm in my 30s now, and I've been a fan since I was 9 years old, and it was because of the Chauncey era, the '04 Pistons, is when I first started playing basketball.
Yeah,
So you know, Ben Wallace, like I said to you the other day, was the guy that got me involved in basketball in general,
yeah,
and I've just stuck with the Pistons. I've never been this guy that follows a player that goes to different teams. I've always been a team guy.
yeah.
So yeah, and look, through thick and thin, I believe we're going to come out the other end of it a better team. And this is just a start. You know, the Weaver
Absolutely,
era is over. It's big, you know, Langdon and bigger stuff. So I think
absolutely.
we've got a look to look forward to. Yeah,
100%, mate. That well said. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, so many people are like, why do you go for the Pistons? Why the Pistons? And I'm like, well, there is because of Andre Drummond, I decided to follow them. But I never once he was traded, like I'm a Pistons fan. Like, so there's something about going through the pain of last season in particular, but the season before that, when they actually are on the rise, which I hope they are this season, but I feel like definitely the next two, like it's going to be so worth it. Like, and it's kind of what I think sport and supporting a team's all about. Like
yeah.
going through some lows and then getting to be a part of the highs and like this community. This is why, not to get on a rant here, but this is why I'm doing this is because I get to connect with people like yourself, and just people from all over the world and like be on this ride. So yeah, it's really special.
And good to you, man. And look, I just can't wait to see how this channel grows, and hopefully we can talk again. And if you're in Victoria, let's play some pickup sometime.
Bro, I am. I'm in Melbourne.
So am I.
I'm not going to say what suburb, but I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah. No, DM me,
You
DM me, and we'll talk about that.
I would love to, mate. I'm always down for
Awesome.
pickup.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me,
No
mate. It's
worries.
been a pleasure, and we'll definitely have you on whenever you want to come up.
Appreciate it, Jack. I'll be back in the comments.
Love it, man. Have
All
a
right,
good
mate.
one.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. Bye bye.
Bye. All right. Now, I think I saw Koo in here wanted to jump up. So I'm just going to jump on Twitter here, see if I can find Koo and send him a message. Man, how good. Like, like I was saying, guys, this is why I do this. Like when I get to meet other international and Australian fans, like I love all my Detroit and US friends, don't get me wrong, but when I get to connect and chat with other Pistons fans from around the world, it's very, very special. So yeah, having Alan on there, that was really cool. And I'm gonna try go through some of the comments here. Like I said, guys, I'm blown away with how many of you are tuning in, and I hope my sound's actually working at the moment. But not sure what was happening there. But it looks like Koo's coming on here. We've got the man from Locked On Pistons. Here he is. What's going on, Koo?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just got done recording the podcast, getting it
Let's go.
uploaded, uploading the newsletter, just getting everything wrapped up before going to bed.
Let's go, man. What time is it for you? Nearly midnight?
It's 10:44 p.m.
Okay, got you. So it's 1:44 here in the afternoon, but I'm a day ahead, so
Oh, well, see, there you go. You got the rest of your day ahead of you.
literally. Thoughts on the game, man? I've shared all mine. I know you've got your podcast, which will be out very soon, but I want to hear your thoughts, main takeaways. Far away.
So it's a heart-wrenching loss. It's fans are definitely going to feel heartbreak. They're going to feel like the Pistons should have won this one. And I'm sure Pistons themselves probably feel like they should have won this game. They had control of the game for majority of the game, and they were playing decently well. But then I know people are going to point to, people are really going to point to their offense for why they lost in the fourth quarter, and I'm going to push back against that. I think their defense is what lost them this game. In the first half, they held the Pacers to 49 points, and that had them ahead of them. And then the second half, they just could not stop anybody. They allowed 66 points in the second half. They really started to get attacked. There was 4 specific players I thought really started to get attacked in the second half. Duran, Fontecchio, I thought easily with his worst defensive game of his career as a Piston. I thought THJ really started to get attacked. I thought Ivy started to get attacked by TJ McConnell in the beginning of that fourth quarter too. They just that's what lost them the game, man. They couldn't string together enough stops. And when you play a lights out offensive team like Indiana, you have to be able to get enough stops on them in the fourth quarter, close them out, or they're just going to blow up on you.
No, legit, man. And then you add on top there like a couple of missed rebounds down the stretch. Jalen Duran fouling Mathurin on the 3-point attempt. And then just like I mentioned before, but I think Ivy he took this pull-up jumper, and I don't want to keep harping on about it, but it was off no pass possession on offense. Like, I don't know, there was just some mistakes there, which I agree. Like, the defense kind of come undone a little bit. And like, it's tough because the Pacers, they had the best offense in the NBA last season. So it's them and the Celtics, but like, so it's tough because it's like, okay, that's kind of what they do. And the Pistons with where they're at, maybe you expect that. But at the same time, like in terms of like this being a heartbreaking loss, do you think like this kind of loss is unacceptable? Might be a bit harsh, but like, I'm just going to use that word, like unacceptable for where this team's trying to go this season? Or do you think that's just Indiana are the better team, Pistons didn't execute?
The problem is that it's hard because you had a lot of these type of losses last year. So, and you've seen a lot of these type of losses over the last few years with the Pistons. So a lot of fans are not going to want to hear the moral victory, you played hard but didn't get the win. Like, they want to see some wins, and rightfully so. I think it really comes down to what they end up doing after play games like this. Like, if they can use this momentum to actually end up stringing together some wins, then that's fine. But if this is about to be like, 6 in a row of just like, they played hard but weren't able to get the win, now you're 0-6, then it's like, okay, like, what's going on? But I think honestly in this game against the Pacers just showed that they were the better team in the fourth. Like, they started to really attack the Pistons' weaknesses, and I thought the lack of Asar Thompson really showcased itself in the fourth quarter. They didn't have no one to really check their main ball handlers. They didn't have really any point of attack defense. And like I said, they really started to attack THJ. Duran started getting exposed a little bit in the pick and pop game by Miles Turner.
Yeah.
Fontecchio was bad defensively. Ivy started to get attacked by TJ. I mean, I think that's probably some things you're just going to run into throughout the year because the Pistons don't really have much defense on the wings on the perimeters without Asar on the floor.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. And like you said there, like moving on, I just spoke about this with Alan, who was on before, but like they now go Cleveland, Boston back to back. And their first 6 to 8 games are really tough, maybe in their first 10. So I'm going to give you a scenario here. Pistons, if they're like, I feel like if you're putting money on it, like they're definitely 0-3. Like I feel like they can get the Cavs, but the way Boston look, man, like I hope I'm wrong, but how do you feel if Pistons in 4 days' time are 0-3? Or how
I mean,
how do you feel and how should Pistons fans feel?
so I won't feel shocked because I tried telling people before the year that this was a brutal start for the Pistons. Like they had a brutal start to their season with the schedule. The schedule did not do them any favors. Like a back-to-back against Cleveland and Boston. Like, come on, like that's rough.
It's so rough, man.
It's like
It's ridiculous. Like we just lost 28 games in a row and won 14, and you're doing this to us. Like,
no, yeah,
come on.
it's rough. So that's a rough back-to-back, but that it puts even more emphasis on why like getting a win like this you have to be able to do this if you're the Pistons because there's not going to be very many nights where you're a favorite. Like I'm trying to look for a game where I think the Pistons could be like a favorite, like to the betting odds, like maybe against Brooklyn on the 3rd of November. But like
Man,
you're not gonna
how
see
long is that? It's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah, you're not gonna find the Pistons as the betting favorite for a lot of games. So when you're in games against a team that's better than you and you have a chance to get a win, you have to get those wins because that's how you go on long losing streaks. You're not going to get many chances. You have to close that out. So I wouldn't be too shocked. It's a tough slate, but I think Pistons fans would probably be like, "Oh, here we go again. This is about to be bad."
I know. It's I was actually quite confident they would win tonight. Not because I think they're better than Indiana, just because I said this earlier, but like Pistons, no matter how bad they've been, it feels like opening night. Like for any team, opening night, I feel like anyone can win. Like it's a new season. So I thought on their home floor they would get this one. And I think that's why it was, heartbreaking. And I had written down here like a missed opportunity, like you said. Like now it's really tough. Like not only do you play, 2 top 4 seeds in the East in the Celtics are just on another level. Like you're doing it on the road on a back-to-back. Like, yeah, I think that's why this stings the most, not so much the game and how they lost. While that sucks, it's more about looking ahead a couple of days. But what I wanted to talk about with you, Koo, like you've been big on Cade, like a lot of us are. What did you think about his game? I think it was kind of a tale of 2 halves. I think he was fine in the first half, but like obviously Nemhard was playing some really good defense. Second half really came to life. What did you think of his game?
I thought in the first half he obviously just wasn't able to hit any shots, and that was obviously holding back what could have been maybe like an even bigger Pistons lead. I think in the first half he was really getting frustrated and kind of allowing Nemhard to really like just get super physical with him full court. They were pressing him full court, and Nemhard was really causing him issues with that, and he was kind of just like allowing it to happen. He wasn't really trying to force the issue too much, which was a little frustrating. But I thought he also was still doing a good job of creating offense for others. He had 6 assists and 1 turnover. He realistically, like, even throughout preseason, like he was on pace to like average 10 assists a game. So like I think he could average somewhere around 8 to 10 assists a game this year if he continues to play like this. So I thought he did a good job setting the team up in the first half, but obviously just wasn't hitting shots. That third quarter might be one of the best quarters I've ever seen him play.
Yeah.
Like and the thing is about that quarter was I think that's one of the only times I've ever seen Cade get like actually pissed and like emotional on the court. Like I've never seen him actually like get like start talking trash and like emotionally showing that towards the other team. I don't think I can remember a time him really doing that. But in that third quarter, I don't know if Benedict Mathurin said something off the wall to him. I don't know what he said, but he was letting them know after like each bucket, like what's going down. And I'm going to. There was 3 straight buckets where he went right at Mathurin, and each time let him know that he was doing it. So
Yeah. No,
it was fun.
I agree. Uh, like Cade's had plenty of games where he drops 30, and I know he didn't get that tonight, but I think what I really enjoyed about that third was the first half, like the vets were there and the team, like they needed Cade to be better, but they were making buckets. The offense looked solid. Like the team was, I think I saw you tweeted out, like the fact Cade hasn't hit a field goal and they're up 6 or something. Like that's actually a positive. And I feel like in that third quarter, they really needed him because that's the Pacers came out and were like, Miles Turner, I think, hit 3 threes in a row and they were clicking. So to see him come through when they kind of needed him, I know that he didn't in the last 5 minutes, whatever, but I think that's what I loved as well because that's what and that's what he's going to keep improving upon in the fourth, maybe. But I think that was huge as well. Like I think he was 18 in the third, something like that.
He had
points.
18, 8 of 9 shooting,
Yeah,
2 of 3 from deep.
yeah,
He was exceptional in that third quarter. That was like special stuff.
yeah. No, it was like that's like a number one type of guy there on a playoff team. Like, and I'm going to be like, what are you looking for him now against Cavs and Celtics? Like, not so much box score, but just the way he plays.
I think you just want to have a more of an even performance throughout the game. See him kind of assert himself a little bit more early. I mean, this is something that like you kind of heard about Cade, like, for a while with him. Even going back to college, people will say like he kind of goes stretches throughout the game where he's just like kind of deferring to his teammates and letting his teammates do whatever, and he just like there seems to be like 3-minute stretches sometimes where it feels like he's kind of just like coasting.
Yeah.
I don't think he's coasting. I think he's just he kind of defers to teammates and wants them to get involved, and he'll kind of just like let them do their thing for a minute. Whereas I think there's times where he needs to just like assert himself more. And I think that's the main thing that I think Pistons fans need from him, just to be more evened out from like the first through the fourth quarter. I mean, but even with that, like third quarter, he went crazy, and the Pistons had a lead going into the fourth. So it's like you just want to see a more evened out performance from him. I mean, that's really it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think they had like 9 point lead in that end of the third, which I kind of felt like they closed it out, but obviously they don't. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was the rotation and mainly the starting lineup. Obviously, Asar, we don't know when he's going to be back. Fingers crossed it's as soon as possible. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Hardaway Jr. starting? Because I think that was a surprise to most. I think most thought it would be Beasley. But thoughts on that and just the rotation overall?
I think he's going with THJ because THJ has slightly more size than Malik, and they're going to be really small. I mean, they're going to be small either way with THJ as well at 3, but with Malik, Cade, and Ivy, you're really tiny at that position in that lineup. So I think that's probably why he's going with THJ. And for the Pistons fans who are freaking out over preseason and need to understand that preseason is literally preseason for a reason. Those games do not count. THJ has a 10-year career of being a good 3-point shooter. Comes out the first game 4 of 7 from deep. So it's like he did his job. He did his part. I think the bigger thing is that you're continuing to see the issue of not having a backup point guard, because literally it took 1 quarter. It literally took 1 quarter to get this scenario where, okay, well, what if one of them gets into foul trouble? Then what? And then you literally had 1 quarter and it showed immediately. And Sasser had to come in. You could tell it wasn't like a planned 10-man rotation. Sasser only played like 2 minutes to cool off Ivy to the second. So I don't really understand. I still don't comprehend why they don't have a third point guard for a situation like that. It just seems like such a clear thing to do. So I don't really get it.
Like, do you think maybe I'm overthinking it, but like for Trajan, like, and this can be the next thing we talk about. Like, I think Trajan's like I think he wants to, like, if I had to put a guess on it, I don't have inside information, but I think he's like keen to get in on this draft. Like, this is a new job for him. Like, I feel like he still wants to build his own roster with maybe his young core. And I'm not saying he trades Cade or anything like that, but having that weakness It's kind of like a subtle weakness that can undo the team that, if they have Markel Fultz tonight, just say like he's the backup point guard on the market. Maybe they don't have that bad second quarter stretch where there's all the point guards off. Like, do you think there's anything there that Trajan's purposely left that the way it is? Because it's a glaring hole, like for anyone that looks at this roster. Like,
I think Trajan is purposely built a roster that he doesn't believe is going to be really good. I think he did that on purpose so he could get another draft pick in a stacked draft class. I think he expects the team to be better. I think he built a team and this was my take all offseason, that he built a team that would help the young guys show if they could get better and show him if they're worth keeping around, but also not good enough to win like 35 games. So he still keeps a top 10-ish pick in a stack draft. I think that's what he's trying to do. I don't know if he purposely did it with the backup point guard spot. That would be pretty interesting if that's why he didn't do it. I mean, it works out for him if that's why, because it's definitely, I think it's going to come up more than once throughout throughout this regular season.
Literally. No, I don't know, just a thought. Probably not, but like it's just like there is other holes on the roster. Like this is far from a perfect roster, but it's just the thing that I know you've spoken about it at length. It just stands out to me. But I guess I've kind of forgot where I was going to go next. To be honest, I did have a thought, but I've lost it. But what are your thoughts? Like Jaden Ivey. Thoughts on his game tonight? Because I think some people think you're an Ivy hater, which I think is unfair. I think
I accept it. It is what it is.
You just look at the numbers, how he plays, and kind of just call it as it is with him. What was your thoughts on his game? Because I thought it was like a good, bad game, if that makes sense. I think the way he played in the preseason, like you said, preseason doesn't matter. I think the things he showed in the preseason, the shooting and that didn't come through tonight. But I saw some things like the ball handling and that kind of thing. What were your thoughts on, his game?
I thought, so the thing, and see, people are going to consider me a hater again, but it is what it is. But like, I think with Ivy, you saw why. I think I saw why, like, I wanted to just wait to regular season to say, like, crown everything. And this is just one game. This completely, like, hopefully it changes moving forward. But like, he was draining every jump shot he took in preseason. Like, he was hitting literally every jump shot from anywhere on the floor. And tonight, I don't think we saw him hit a jump shot tonight. And that's something they need from him. They need him to hit some jumpers. He went 0 of 2 from 3. I think he went 0 of 3 on pull-up jumpers. They need that from him. So that's somewhere that obviously he needs to improve on. Hopefully he comes back to shooting closer how he did in preseason next game. I don't think he's going to be shooting 0% from 3 like the rest of the year, but like I want to see where that balance is actually out. I thought he did a better job with ball handling and controlling the turnovers a bit. I thought he did a better job with the ball in his hands when creating for others. But the other thing with him is that really put me off. So there was 2 stretches of the game that I liked from him, really liked from him, and there was one stretch I really did not like. The stretch I really liked was at the end of the third quarter. They took Cade out, and it was his lineup to run. Cade kind of kept them afloat that entire third quarter. Indiana kind of took like their swings at the Pistons, and Cade was really the only one swinging back and keeping the Pistons in. So then Cade comes out, and then this is supposed to be where the Pistons are telling everyone they're going to be special at. Is that when Cade comes out, now you still have Ivy, so we're constantly going to be punching at you. It's going to be Cade and then Ivy, Cade and then Ivy. You're never going to relax. And I thought at the end of that third quarter, Ivy played really well. I thought he did exactly what you wanted to see from him. I thought he got to the basket. Probably should have been an and one on one of his layups. Got fouled, didn't get it. I thought he played really well in that at the end of the third quarter stretch. Then Cade comes in, hit that step back 30 to end the quarter. So he did a really good job in that stretch. Exactly what you want to see in the staggering. The stretch that I really did not like from him, and I thought really swung the game, was the beginning of the fourth quarter. TJ McConnell completely dominated the Pistons in like the first 3 minutes. I'm pretty sure I just said this on the podcast. I'm pretty sure he had 8 points and 2 assists within the first 3.5 minutes.
That floating jumper of his, man, is like cash. Like, I know I agree with you, but like, he's annoying, but he's good. But
he completely outplayed everyone on the Pistons in that stretch. And those are the kind of stretches that, with what the Pistons are trying to do, by staggering Cade and Ivy all the time. You can't have that stretch can't happen. You can't have TJ McConnell dominate for 3.5 minutes of a stretch. You need Ivy to kind of fight back against him, because that's the whole point of the staggering of the lineup, to where when Ivy's out, Cade keeps you afloat, and when Cade's out, Ivy keeps you afloat.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a key stretch. He didn't play very well, but I mean, it's the first game of the year. I liked how I thought he played a little bit more poised with the ball in his hands. I thought he had some really nice finishes around the rim. I mean, it is what it is, man. I'm never gonna switch it up.
Hey, it's your job. It's your job, bro.
I'm never not gonna be honest. I thought he showed some good things, but again, I thought his defense, especially in the second half, by McConnell mostly, really got exposed a little bit. And you need him to hit some more jump shots, but again, it's just the first game of the year. You'll see how it plays out. But I thought there was good and bad things, just like with most of the players on the team.
Yeah. No, I think everything you said is completely fair and honest and valid.
Hey.
I wanted to. So one of the probably the coolest things I've seen amongst Pistons Twitter / anything on Pistons socials was Jalen Duren shouting out "Locked On Pistons" at media. Was that media day? I can't remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So what did you think of your listener Jalen Duren's game tonight?
So
Jalen
Duren.
Now. Sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Sorry, man. Go for it.
So Jalen Duren, he's gonna be someone he's just gonna be one of those, like, I don't want to say it yet. I'm not gonna say it yet. Actually, I'm gonna keep it tucked to the chest. But he's so tantalizing. He has such tantalizing potential with how talented he is offensively. But man, some of the defensive stuff is just so frustrating. Some of the defensive stuff is just so frustrating. In the first half, I think you got a glimpse. And again, it's just one game. You'll see how it actually plays out. Don't want to overreact to one game at all. I think you saw a quick glimpse into where he may have taken an improvement defensively, and where he seems to maybe he could still probably be struggling at. Because in the first half, I thought he did a really good job defensively, being attentive, being locked in, contesting more shots around the basket. He had a really nice play on Miles Turner. I'll probably break it down tomorrow. He kind of closed out at him on a DHO. Miles Turner tried to take him to the basket along the baseline. He shuffles his feet, close off a drive. Then he spin back again, try to drive him again. Duren forced him out of bounds into a tough pass, turnover, back to the Pistons. A really great possession from him. I thought he did a much, much better job defensively in the first half as a rim protector and just kind of patrolling the paint. I thought he did a great job. Then the second half, I think Indiana kind of realized, okay, well, let's do pick and pop and like give him away from the rim. And then it was just like Miles Turner absolutely destroyed the Pistons in the third quarter. And it was just bad. It was so bad. And I think in the preseason, he looked good. He looked improved defensively in every game, but the first one. And the first one was Brook Lopez, another stretch big. So I think you're probably, whether it's a scheme thing that they can do to kind of help him out, or if it's something he just has to get better at, I think maybe you're starting to see indicators from what we've seen in preseason and in this game that he'll probably be a little bit better as a rim protector and be more locked in, hopefully, throughout the year as an overall like paint presence defensively. But for the last 3 years and preseason and in tonight, stretch bigs have been a problem for him. And in 2024, you're going to go against a lot of stretch bigs. So the Pistons need to figure out like what they're going to do about that.
Yeah. No, look, I'm with you, man. And like I think maybe against the Cavs, that'll be another test. Like, no, I don't think they have stretch bigs. I know obviously Mobley and Allen are.
I mean, well, Evan Mobley apparently is trying to be.
Has he actually been shooting threes though? Or is it, it's just preseason, bro.
No, that's what I'm saying. Who knows? He might try to whip it out again.
But you know what? Like, I think I've probably been a bit harsh on JD, mainly just because I felt like at times last season the effort really lacked in a way that reminded me of my favorite player, Andre Drummond.
See, I was going to say earlier. That's why I kept it close to the chest. I was going to say it, but I kept it close to the chest.
Well, bro, so I think they are so similar. Like, in the sense, different players. JD's got better touch around the rim, much better free throw shooter. But what they do good and what they struggle with, there's a lot of similarities. Like, Andre was never a really good shot blocker either. And it was for similar reasons. Like, But I think, yeah, so I think I've been tough on him because I have that experience of Andre Drummond, who I watched every single possession of, and I'm sure you did as well. Like we have that, we've seen that, and I think that's probably why I lent towards maybe a bit of a negative side. But I think tonight, like you said, when the energy and effort's there, and there is some improvements, but like you said, he got absolutely cooked by Turner. Like I think it was 3 threes in a row, and I
It
think he had
was.
4 in that third quarter. And you can say, yeah, Turner was hot, but some of it, it goes both
I mean,
ways. So
he's taking open threes. I mean,
yeah,
he's hot. You can
yeah,
say he's hot, but like if you're giving a stretch big open threes,
yeah,
he's eventually gonna hit the open threes.
exactly. So that's, like I said, he's got Boston Sunday who play, or Saturday for you, sorry, who
Oh, it's
play.
gonna be that's oof. That's
Bro,
gonna,
uh, is that game in Boston? It is, isn't it?
no, it's at home. I'm gonna actually be
Okay. Oh,
credentialed for that one.
that's actually not bad. Did you say you're going?
Yeah, I'm gonna be credentialed for that game.
Let's go. So that's going to be an experience because if there's one, like all 5 of their players just dribble past shoot, dribble past shoot. Like, so I think Saturday, I'd like to see him have like a strong performance. Obviously the Cavs are a tough team as well, but Sunday's another test to see how he goes. Like, let's see if there's any growth there and he learns from that. Because yeah, he's like in terms of players that can have an impact, you've spoken about it in the preseason, like he's improvement on defensive end is a thing that can take this team to maybe a play-in area. So that's enough on JD, I reckon. Like, any other thoughts, Koo? Any other
Um,
thoughts?
Nah, nothing else really. I think we hit on everything I have thoughts on. I'm happy that you're doing all this. Really, congrats to you. I hope everything goes really well. I want to come on here and support you real quick. I'm happy with everything
Appreciate
you're
that.
doing, man. You're doing good stuff. I hope everybody that's watching and everything subscribes to all your stuff, obviously.
I
But yeah, no,
appreciate it.
I ain't got nothing else. I just got done uploading everything, so I'm probably gonna go hit the hay before I have to wake up early in the morning for some work.
What time
But
do you get up?
5:30.
5:30. Hey, do you not like the early mornings though? I get the
Huh?
sense from some of your tweets you don't.
What do I like early mornings?
Yeah.
No, I despise it. I literally wake up in the morning thinking about just jumping off my roof. Like it's just
You can't say that, man. You can't say that.
it's terrible. I absolutely despise it.
Oh,
Oh,
I get up at 4:45 a.m., bro. So
oh my
I
god.
like the early mornings, virus. I can see why you don't like them, but thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate your support as always. Everyone on here knows who you are. You're doing amazing stuff, and I can't wait to see you start doing Locked On Pistons full time, my brother, because
That
you're
that
killing
might
it.
be coming soon. That might be coming
Yeah.
soon. Stay
Let's
tuned.
get that happening because yeah, you do amazing work, and I've told you this many, many times, but I actually don't want to see Darth Koo ever again. But but that I could call it a show you put on for probably a month of my life. That really helped me because for the first time ever, this team was actually affecting my mental health, like in a way that I didn't know was possible. And getting to listen or watch Darth Koo after every game really helped. And I know it helped a lot of people. So I don't
I
ever want to
had
see Darth Koo again, but shout out to you.
I've had like 3 listeners see me at my job and say, "When's Darth Koo coming back?" And I said, "Hopefully never."
No,
Like,
hopefully never.
never.
I loved it, but I never want to see that side of you again.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. Good luck with everything you're doing, man. I love this. I hope you keep doing it, and good luck to everything, man. Everyone support Jack if you're listening to this. Make sure you guys support him, though. But I'll catch
I
you later, bro.
appreciate you. All right, man. Have a good night. We'll
Yep,
talk
you too,
soon.
man.
All right, guys. I am going to check some DMs here. But before we do, I'm just going to go through some comments, see what we got going here. Like I said, support is crazy. Appreciate you. I don't know, guys. Have you got any questions for me while I check to see if we've got some more people to bring up on here? If you got any questions about the game, any questions about me, maybe let me know. But I'm just checking DMs now. Oh, I thought we had one here, but next game. But yeah, thank you so much for all the support. Looks like we've got no more requests, guys. But I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I think this has been an awesome start. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. If I just really want to emphasize, if you want to be a part, like this show is for anyone to come on. Like this isn't just for other content creators, podcasters. Like this is for any Pistons fan or NBA fan. Maybe the Pistons have to be playing your team for you to come on, but this is for any Pistons fan. So please DM me. I'm going to be doing these after every game. So if there's a game you see, like if you want to come on after the Celtics game on Saturday or Sunday, message me now and I'll put you down on the list so I can get it organized. But yeah, this has been amazing. I'm so grateful for you all. Like this show, and honestly, why I'm doing this is for all Pistons fans around the world. Because for me, being here in Melbourne, like there is Pistons fans around, but when you're so far away, like it's hard after a tough loss like tonight to get on and be able to talk to someone and vent about it, about someone who's in it as much as you are. So that's what this is for. So if you're someone who doesn't have any friends nearby that are Pistons fans and you need to talk about the game, please message me, DM me on Twitter or Instagram. That's the best way to get in contact with me. And I'll be sure to set you up and get you on the show because I think this is going to be a lot of fun throughout the season. So I think I'm done. Like, subscribe, follow at Pistons Jack on all channels. But until the Cavs game on Friday or Saturday when we'll be back, go Pistons.